Hi everyone, welcome to teamfortress.tv. Once more, me and Eemes have been relegated to the second channel for some obscure reason. I'm not sure this is quite correct to do that to us. But yeah, this is the better game. This is ETF2L Season 32 Week 7, a game between Swift and the Crever. And yeah, I'm with Eemes again tonight. Hi Eemes, what's up?
Hi. Well, I think really what's happening is they relegate the most desirable casting duo to TFTV2 to kind of balance it out so they get equal views on both. I think that's definitely what's happening here.
That's actually quite fair. I think I'm going to go with that reasoning, and I'm going to embrace it. And I'm going to try my best to believe it to be true. On production, we have Wiethoofd. Yeah, this is the last game of the season, the regular season. The other one being Se7en against the Theorist on TFTV1. So once again, pick your poison, go see the game you want, but stay here because it's a better one. And the reason why this one is a better one is because there's a bit more at stake. I believe in that game, Swift are officially in playoffs, but they want to go for a better standing. And the French team, they basically want to avoid the last spot in relegation. So it's not all decided yet. I think we have already 4 teams for playoffs, right, Eemes, if I'm not mistaken.
Barring some crazy stuff happening tonight, the only possible way that playoffs changes here is if Verkreve get 6 points against Swift, and if the Theorist gets 6 points against Se7en, in which case the Theorist will get into playoffs instead of Swift. But that's pretty unlikely, I'd say.
I'm okay with that. That means I'm still in playoffs, so let's do it.
Yeah. Congratulations, Ombrack.
Otherwise, if Theorist actually wins 6-0, and they would be ahead, they would tie with Pain Gaming, and then it would be tiebreaker shenanigan, and because Theorist would beat Se7en, they probably would take the spot out of Pain, so there's actually some math to do tonight. But yeah, like this is really unlikely scenario, and I don't believe and want it to be true. But yeah, let's move on and see what we have in store. So Swift, kind of a shaky run so far. I mean, they're in playoffs almost for sure, but I don't know about you, Eemes, but I kind of expected a bit better from Swift this season.
Yeah, they seem to be a little bit inconsistent this season, definitely with their particularly questionable loss to the Frenchies. Well, I mean, the Frenchies, that was probably their best game. That is the Gwincam, not these Frenchies. That was a truly epic game. But yeah, they've been a bit off and on. I think they were looking quite a lot stronger last game. Actually, I think probably playing a bit better with Domo, even though Lucas is obviously their main, because I think Domo just brings a bit more experience, a bit more calm to the team, and that's kind of, probably what they've been lacking a bit, because Pappy does a lot of the calling, but sometimes you just want your demo to calm things down, give kind of a rock for your team to play around and make a lot of calls, which Lucas, he does a lot of damage, but I don't think he really calls enough to help his team like follow up on what he's doing a lot. So I think Domo probably is actually helping their team out quite a lot here.
And actually Domo was the original pick for Swift when they made that new lineup with the Copenhagen LAN in mind, but Domo couldn't make it eventually, so they had to pick it Lucas. So it's somewhat back to the roots kind of lineup tonight. Yeah. I think Domo also murked on their last official against some team that I forgot about.
It was Theorist.
Theorist, actually, yeah. And Domo already murked, and he proved worthy of a spot in that team. And on the other side of the battlefield, we have the Crever, the other full French team, who basically saved their honor by beating the other French team by getting points out of them. So now they are fighting to avoid relegation. And I think I casted them once, and it was on product. I don't know if you were with me at that time, Eemes, but we saw them with Raph on Roamer and Alien on demo and Olga Scout. That was the setup for map only.
I don't think I was on that one game, no.
Yeah, that's why I don't remember it then. But yeah, that was they had that lineup only for product, and they decided that maybe it was worth a try on the regular 5 CPs, and this is now their regular lineup. They swapped their class around, and this led to a win against the other Frenchies. So maybe there's a beginning of an answer here for this team to maybe grow as a better opponent for the next season. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, I've named half of the roster as well, so I'm gonna finish that, and then you can go other Swift teams. So the scouts for the French team are Olga and Karnax. Olga being the pocket scout, I believe. Raf is gonna play soldier with Duo. I don't know who's pocket and roaming in that setup, because Raf is known to be
Raf's pocket.
Okay, because Raf played roam on prem before, so I guess he swapped, just adapted to what Duo is playing. The demo is then Alin Smiley, and the medic is Mula.
Yep, and for Swift we have the debut in Prem of Classy on Flank Scout. We have Scruff Pocket Scout, Pappy Pocket main calling, Gink on Roma, Domo Merking on demo. But he was, as we mentioned, the team's original pickup, so he's probably going to slot in pretty well. And finally we have Seeds on Medic.
It's pretty strong lineup, and I think even though the playoffs are pretty much already decided, this game matters in the way of practice, either both for playoffs and for LANs, for Copenhagen games. So on paper it may look like this game doesn't really matter, but actually it does, because when you're gonna run into competing playoffs, you always want a bit more practice, and being third is always being better than being fourth, because it means you don't play the first seeds in the first round of playoffs. So it's still some stuff at stake, and I can believe that Swift is going to take that game extremely seriously, because considering how shaky their run has been so far, they need a bit confidence and stability.
Yeah, definitely. I think Swift, they have a lot of really strong individual players on their team, but they need to, obviously, Classy need to prem. Scruff is not so need to prem, but I think he's definitely one prone to underperforming officials sometimes, and the whole team potentially has been doing that a little bit this season. So they need to, it'll be definitely a good game for them to try and calm their nerves, beat a team that they ought to beat, and if you'll see if they actually start, really doing well here instead of it being a close game. That'll be really a sign that they're kind of ready for playoffs, ready to play their game properly, and kind of stamp their mark on the playoffs, I suppose, as they finish out the season, as we are now going live on Ombrack.
And we haven't mentioned it yet, but the first map of that series is Granary, as we see it under our eyes right now. This is Swift against the crever. This is week 7 of ETF2L Premiership Season 32, and we're going to see how that first middle unravel. We see Domo going into Catwalk and dodging the sticky against Alin. Already a better one-on-one for the Swift demo, and as I said, that double bombing soldiers coming from Pappy and Gink, laying a lot of damage onto Mula, claiming that first frag of that series. And it's pretty looking pretty good for Swift so far. Only Alien alive with 3 HP, and that double
How
bomb
did
was really
Seeds
good.
live there? Wow, just at the end, they're getting juggled up into the sky in a pencil kind of jump. He missed it, dodged the rocket, and then another rocket just somehow didn't kill him. He lived on 10 HP, so that was really nicely played by Seeds to win that out. But really, on that mid, we saw a fantastic bomb in by Gink, distracting so many players, getting a bit of damage on the med, and then Pappy just comes in, cleans him up, and Swift just play really solidly together. A bit lucky to defend Seeds there for him to live, but it was a pretty solid mid from them. Very nice soldier aggression, and coming off the nice, basically winning the 1v1 from Domo right at the start of the fight, as they are now pushing last here through the right side.
They have full Uber ad, but Mula's already at 50% Uber, and Karnax on Sniper is gonna try to see if he can click on that head, but no, Seeds has already used that Uber, trying to get into space and grab on that right side, and again, the bomb from Domo putting a lot of pressure, but the French were so scared they were just hiding in spawn because of that Uber, and then it was just a point play to do for Scruff and Classy.
Yeah, really strange to see here. No off classes at all, I think, from the Frenchies, and without that Sentry or Heavy to slow down Swift, they all just kind of ran away from the Uber, and then Swift just said, alright, well, we're just going to play point, and they did. It's a very clinical Uber from them, but I don't know, I just don't understand. Where were the off classes on Brack?
Karnax was a sniper, but it's probably not relevant enough to have a sniper when you want to hold against such a big Uber T-side. And look at Domo on that second mid, so aggressive over Alien. He was all over the point trying to get some stickies, and he did on Alien, and now the bomb is coming from Duo, trying to retaliate some damage onto Swift, who's been really stacked onto that point. The bomb from Pappy, he got the frag onto Mula, but another frags are being traded, but in the end the better DM from Swift is appearing to make all the difference. Now it's only Raf and Olga, both of them having swapped classes over that season, but now Olga died, it's only Raf behind, and he's gonna get cleaned up, and different middle approach here from Swift, it worked out all the same.
Yeah, so we saw there the difference between Duo's mid on this mid and Gink's mid last mid. Duo went very deep, but he didn't really get any damage onto Seeds at all, and he just kind of got pressured out, so he didn't really get the distraction ready. Whereas Pappy came in from behind, killed Mula once again pretty early in the mid, and yeah, I saw pretty much the same mid with Swift just playing very sturdy together with their med, and keeping him alive for the whole mid, so pretty much the same thing there from Swift, but it's working, so they're just going to rinse and repeat here.
And another repeat this time. There's a gun denying the jump from Domo, but barely enough to survive. The gun's already down. The bomb coming from Raph onto the pipeline, trying to get some damage onto the point. But look at that same situation. All the friendship was so back. It was only a matter of seconds before Classic could play that point. And I don't know, the Frenchies, are they too scared teams? Is that the issue for them right now?
I know, it's kind of weird. They just seem to be giving up in these fights. Dare I say, surrendering a little bit. But I know it's just kind of the same exact thing. I mean, Swift came through left side there, slightly different Uber with Domo bombing into the sentry, but basically it came down to the same thing. They all got pushed into spawn by the Uber, and then Swift just played the caps. So Frenchies are going to need to adapt here if they're going to stay in this game. With Domo again being alien to mid here.
It's a complete disrespect here from Domo onto Alien. He's just walking so forwards, and all the Frenchies playing that left hand side, trying to do something. The bomb is coming from Raph, Joe actually, but he just created onto Classy, and the bomb from Pappy once again claiming the frag onto Mula, who has not survived a single mate so far. Once more, it's only Olga, and he's already going back, but it's incredible to Mula just dying all the time to a single bomb from Pappy.
Yeah, Pappy's really got his number here. I mean, we saw again on that mid. Domo knows that he's just a couple seconds early on mid, and obviously his granary mid is so important for that on demo. You can just really pressure the enemy demo out. He can't get the pack and can't like take position in the middle, then they just get pushed into a corner, and Pappy and Gink are using that space that he's created so effectively at the start. Pappy has killed Mula 3 mids in a row. We'll see what they do with this Uber.
It's going to be pretty much the same situation all over again. Copy and paste here for Swift. There's a gun. Olga has built a level 3 gun behind the little crates on the right side, while Karnax is once more onto Sniper, but that setup wasn't efficient the 2 times before that. Once again, Domo jumped in with the Uber, can't get the sentry quite as early as they wanted to. Finally they get it, traded soldier frags between Duo and Gink. But again, Frenchies look like they want to fight for once. They're getting out of their spawn. Domo died to 2 scouts. Karnax getting another frag. Once more, so much disconnected from that combo. Just Mula and I think it was Alien once more in their spawn door.
Now with last defense looked a lot better for the Frenchies. The sentry took a very long time to go down, which was kind of bad from Swift. It was in a nice hidden position behind that block there in the middle. Which kind of delayed Swift, but basically once again Pappy bombed deep into spawn, I think, and locked Alien in there, and that meant that they just even though it's 3v3 right at the end, they were just again pretty much cowering in spawn and letting them cap. So yeah, and we do see once again Domo extremely fast in mid, getting some good damage on the scouts up top here.
New approach from the Frenchies. They're going from the right side this time. Duo being early in his bomb, being completely alone. He can't get anything done. Domo dies eventually to a cleanup frag by Karnax, but it looks really dire for the Frenchies. Once again, Raph completely isolated. Look at that, Raph was on mid when the rest of his teammates were already backing out yard, so maybe some kind of miscommunication here. Scruff wants to go, he wants more blood, he's getting helped by Classy, and pretty much everybody, just Gink, I think, capping with the help of Domo soon. The Ubers are even, so it's going to be an even situation. We haven't seen that until now, and it's probably good for the Frenchies that they managed to slow down the game.
So their kind of adaptation on that mid not entirely working out, but at least they haven't lost Mula immediately to a Pappy bomb, so that's the first mid that's happened, and it's going to be a stalemate now, which is probably, I mean, it's a better result than they've had previously, right? So it's an okay adaptation. They went through right side, they got the nice frag on the Domo, but once again we just saw, I mean, Swift are playing this basically 2 scouts pockets, 2 soldiers going super aggressive style, and it's just working so well because Seeds is just so safe. I don't think he's died yet this entire map. And Classy and Scruff are just farming people who jump onto him every single time, really. Yeah,
I don't think Seeds has died either, but the aggression was way too timid from the Frenchies to actually threaten Seeds' life, except on that first mid when you mentioned Seeds' life. Somehow it kind of slipped through my eyes, but it lived. But yeah, Uber's situation is completely even, and it looks like Swift want to pressure that top left area with the Pappy and Gink. Taking a lot of heals. Karnax died, kind of overextended here. Gink died as well in that process, but it doesn't really hurt Swift that much. They will be able to hold Granary, because Granary is a really specific map where it's basically a 7 CP map, and these 2 yards are really hard to push from and to push out. So it's going to be another hold. Is Gink on any kind of off classes? Doesn't look like it, so it's gonna be a pretty slow pace compared to what we've seen that these 5 first minutes. And, but it's always bad to start with basically a 3-round disadvantage. I can speak from experience from what happened yesterday, and I don't know how the Frenchies can turn the tide around. What are the options?
Well, at the moment, I mean, this is the first time they've been even in a neutral scenario in the game, apart from like the very start of the mid before anything had happened. So kind of really need to make sure they're not getting pushed back out of this stalemate. They've got to really keep their concentration here. They can get back into this game if they play it correctly, but they've got to make sure that this stalemate goes well for them, because at the moment Swift, even though they have really no impetus to push, they don't really need to at all. It's them making the plays around Lunchbox, as we see Gink and Pappy trying to get stuff done, not really getting too much in. The Frenchies going to need to play really tight, maybe get a pick or two, and most importantly, do not translate this back into a last hold for them. They need to start pushing out and getting back into this game, because if they go 4-0 down, that's going to be pretty much curtains for them.
Yeah, and these first 3 rounds were pretty much a heavy knock on the heads for the Frenchies, so they probably need some time to recover, to gather their spirits and try to figure out solutions. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about that Müller positioning on top of that little catwalk. It's not something we see really often. How do you judge this?
It's pretty interesting. Actually, we do see Alien. This is kind of weird. Alien's got stickies really quite passively. Normally you have the demo watching left side, but they know that no one's going to be peeking there, so they're going to focus almost all their attention over towards Lunchbox. So I think it's pretty good, because that's where the aggression from Swift is going to come, as we do see Gink sacking in.
And forced it. He got the force because...
Oh, he did, right.
Yeah, he just basically with 2 jumps, he went on the ground, baited a bit the aggression, and then with 2 nice rockets, forced the Uber out of Müller. So yeah, I'm not really sure that hole is pretty... I like the idea, but it's really not perfectly executed from the Frenchies. And now it's gonna translate into another Uber ad push from Swift. Once more, they're going from their right hand side. Once more, the Uber is being used on the move. Just rises up into the air. He can't get any frag this time. There's no gun. He finally gets a frag onto Duo, and Alien completely isolated. It's gonna fall as well. So now it's gonna be a 5-6 against 4, and yeah, against that DM for the Frenchies, they can't do anything. So, as you mentioned, that even Uber situation really shouldn't translate into a last hole for them.
Yeah, no, not at all. And once again, we only see them having the sniper off class on last, which is kind of weird. I mean, it seems like they're not really, fully invested in this game. They're not willing to take out the boring off classes. They're just having Karnak snipe. And we saw Domo get so much space with his Uber. He didn't actually get any frags, but Pappy did kill Duo. And they just got so much room, so much positioning, killing Alien pretty swiftly after, that they pretty much won that last fight for free.
It's maybe the last mid of that first map, Eemes, this high bomb coming from Duo is help. It's actually Raph getting 1 rocket, actually Seeds finally dies. Eventually nice bomb here from Raph. They wanted to keep Müller alive, the nice retaliation play here from everybody from Swift, and now it's Cruff and Classy against Olga. Olga get a frag onto Classy, was really weak. So 1-on-1, it's an MG duel now on the ground mid, and Olga doesn't have enough health to take that comfortably enough. He finally gets the health back. It's now Olga against Scruff once again. The health are extremely even, but Scruff looks like he has a little edge. He's not taking that risk. He doesn't trust that DM enough, and who knew one day that Scruff would fear Olga on a duel.
Yeah, I don't think he knew how weak he was. If he had known, he would have played a lot more aggressive, I think. But just giving Olga respect there. But this could definitely be a recontest for Swift if they want to come in. Olga's going to get cap time, but they're going to play super aggressive with their good spawn through choke. Happy's going to make a bomb onto the med. He's going to bomb back to his combo now. That was kind of a really inclusive mid, as you do see this recontest now.
And the bomb coming from Yake gets the frag onto Müller once more, who wasn't really well protected. And on the it was interesting to see that as the fight unravels in favor of Swift, but when Siege is getting bombed, all the scouts are turning around to get that soldier, and when Müller's getting bombed, it's just a disaster.
Yeah, it was like Swift were just a couple seconds earlier to mid, but maybe their spawns were just slightly better, and that just meant they just took a really nice amount of positioning. Pappy did a nice sort of bomb around, distracting, and then Gink just came in on the flank. No one was watching him, and he gets the crucial pick into Müller once again. So we did see Seed's first death on that mid, but the recontest is so clinical from Swift that it's not going to be enough for the Frenchies, and they're back on their last once again. And will we see any off-classes on, right? What do you think?
Well, Karnak's on Sniper for the 6th time in a row now. It wasn't really effective the first 5 times, and now once more the Uber is being used onto Domo right side. You see a classic textbook Swift pushed here, but they don't get any frag this time. Only Alien's kind of disconnected, and the point could be played here from Swift, but no, they prefer to claim the frags because this is what shows on logs. And now it's only Duo, and he can't do anything against 5 Swift player, and this is it. This is the first map, and it's been quick. I think we can say that.
It's been pretty quick, yeah. Yeah, so 13-minute map there, I think. not the closest. I know. I don't feel like the Frenchies' heart was in it. I'm not entirely sure why, but I've seen them even in played against Se7en. They got a 5-1. They scrapped all game. They all went pyro. They tried really hard, but I don't know. They seem to be kind of giving up a little bit there on Ombrack. Although I hate to say it.
Well, I mean, for them it's like the last game of the season. There's not really much at stake because even being 7th or 6th doesn't really change anything for you, apart relegation, of course. But maybe there's not that big of a deal for them as a game, and the last game of the season you kind of let the pressure go and stuff like that. Whereas on Swift, on the other hand, we mentioned already how that game is important for them regarding positioning and momentum. So maybe it's just the gap is too big to fill for the Frenchies. I still want to hope the second map will be closer. And what I want to see maybe from the Frenchies is that if there's nothing to lose, maybe surprise us with some crazy off classes.
Yeah, I'd really like to see them just go balls to the wall, super aggressive on these mids, just double bombs in, make Seeds uncomfortable, even if you're going to lose, you can just say, you know what, I want to make one player have a really crap game, and you can just focus the hell out of them. So, potentially that could be Seeds. That might be really just a fun goal for them. But just looking at the logs, I mean, it's kind of a crush fest. But one thing I can point out is that Scruff did not even die. So that's an infinite KD.
And Seeds died, so can we say a Scruff baited his medic? Maybe. But yeah, it's kind of hard. These logs are pretty rough. Obviously, Olga actually going okay in the hard game, rough game, going 10 for 5. Probably the only highlight for the crever. But apart from that, yeah, there's not that much to pick up. Yeah, it's weird because you mentioned how they're not really going that aggressive, the French team, and usually when you don't really care, you kind of go all in. So it's as if the Frenchies care, but not enough to actually play correct. I don't know. It's hard to tell what's going through their minds right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And on the other hand, sometimes, I mean, is he only that, or maybe Swift on paper is just the better team? So
I think they are, but I don't think it's anywhere near this big of a difference. With Frenchies, like maybe they were just having some questionable mids. But one thing I can point out is that we mentioned Scruff playing like an absolute pussy in that 1v1 earlier, and now we can see why. He knew that he hadn't died, so he didn't want to risk it. If he was an absolute legend like Credu, maybe, I think he would have just gone in anyway, won it, just been an absolute tank. But, he preserves his infinite KD, and that's fair enough from the young man. You want to have your, when you have the logs you can put up on your fridge sometimes, so that's fair enough.
So you heard it, chat. Eemes called Scruff a pussy and Credu a legend, so I think there's some bias at play right now. Okay, second map. This is now Snake, which is probably going to be the last map of the season for Raf's team. So hopefully we're going to see some. I don't know what to say. I'm not going to say interesting stuff, but maybe funny stuff or what. Something.
Yeah, some shenanigans, maybe that would be good. Maybe some Olga Pyro. Maybe they just run heavy to mid. That can be effective on Snake Water. I just want to see something to make me laugh, make me cry, make me scream.
Something to make this game worth it.
Yeah, to make it worth the excellent production and casting team that has been given to it. Really.
And we've said that this game would be a better one than the other, so we kind of they owe that to us.
Maybe maybe this map will just be so incredible, so many air shots, so many big plays that it would just make up for the somewhat underwhelming affair that was that first map.
So what's the what's the goal here, Eemes? When you're the Frenchies, what do you aim for? 20 death on Seeds, 30 death on your medics. How do you make the odds in your favor?
I know. I think if I was them, I would say, just aim to kill Seeds over and over again. I think that he's kind of the core of the team, and obviously they do play around him pretty well. But if you can actually kill Seeds repeatedly, then there's the potential. Don't think it's particularly likely, but you could just tilt Swift out of the game. He's can be an emotional player, so you never know. And also, even if they don't tilt them out of the game, or make them lose because of it will be pretty funny to hear his reactions because King is streaming, so you can just watch back the VOD and just hear him just getting really annoyed every time he gets bombed, and that'll be funny enough in itself. So they could just set themselves some kind of objective for this map and follow through on it, but who knows?
Or run it full crits, or what's not. There's so many ways to make that game a bit challenging for Swift, I guess. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. These players are making us wait, and maybe something we're not expecting happening. But as I say that, of course, Raph makes me lie and sets his team ready. So this is its second map between Swift and the Crever, the French team. Hopefully a little more show, a little more entertainment for everyone involved on that game, and we'll see how that goes in that first mid. On Granary, Domo was extremely disrespectful of Alien, going extremely forward. This time he's being a bit more cautious. To put it that way, Genk is hiding onto the French kitchen, trying to see if he can just delay a bomb and do something. So both teams just looking at each other, don't really want to aggress. And as I said, of course, Genk and Pappy going at the same time, but they're getting cleaned up really well here by Raph and Karnax. And now it looks like a fight going in the way maybe of the French team. It's a 3v4. They have 3v3 now, but the heals are pretty similar. It's 2 scouts and a medic against a scout, a demo, and a medic. So on paper, it looks better for the French team, and this Swift, they acknowledge that and they want to go back. And oh, no, they don't. Scruff picking, it's getting help by Domo and Seas. They want to take that fight. They are confident in their abilities to win that 3v3, and but they have better opponents. But Olga a bit disconnected from his combo, and it looked like that fight somehow is going the way of Swift.
Yeah, so really nice aggressive retake. They knew they had the Demo man. Demo is a really good DM player. He finally came out with his heals, and they just, a scout versus Demo versus 2 scouts. Generally, unless the other scouts play really aggressively or, do something kind of special, the Demo is going to win that because he just has the long range, and the other scout can defend him at close range, as they do push kind of aggressively into this choke area. They have actually nobody watching their flank at the moment, and they do sack in onto the med, but he won't get anything from it. So it could have been actually a really good mid from the Frenchies. They cleaned up the aggression from Gink and Pappy really, really effectively. But Duo went behind. He almost got he did get a lot of damage onto Swift, but he didn't actually get any frags, just kind of fed to the scouts in the end, and that meant that it was kind of evened out. And finally the Demo man advantage came in at the end, so Swift winning it out eventually.
This is gonna be a first stalemate on that second map on Snake Water. Gink is on Spy, and he's not just checking for classes Eemes, he's actually going for a play, and this is pretty much what we're looking for. This is what we want to see in kind of uneven games. See some Spy shenanigans, and it's going to be interesting to see if Mula is aware and is going to look for that Spy, and from his positioning it's going to be hard for Gink to get a row backstab unless he seems to help him. But Pappy a bit too eager to push. Domo as well, nice 2 frags here from Alien, maybe enabling a push out from the French team. They have to be careful now, because if they take it too slow, Gink is going to be behind. He's actually uncloaking and trying to go for a backup. How many players is he going to draw back? None. It looks like it. They just want to stack it, and they knew they have a better numbers here, so they take that. No, it's looking a bit bad for Swift team, because they have a player behind, and someone in class is still dead.
Only 4 up in front for Swift, and the Frenchies are going to just take this opportunity to push straight in. It was very weak here, but Scruff does go down in the trade, so it's only 3 players alive for the Frenchies. I mean, for Swift, they're going to have to leave. Happy's hightailing out of there, and actually the Frenchies could go ahead and push last here. There's 3 up in front for the Frenchies. Once again, Gink's going to try and make a spy play behind. He's distracting people. He's completely worthless there. The Frenchies can just bust in here. No demo still, so Pappy's going to try and hold this choke, but there's really not too much they can do if they're going to come in right side. Pappy's going to bomb it though.
He gets 2 knife rocket onto Mula, and there's a heavy in the hand of Classy, and of Sniper. Scruff is at the door, and this is complete crumble here for the Frenchies. That bomb from Pappy basically disabled the ability of the French team to push out with a 2 knife rocket onto the med. They completely denied the heals, and now Swift, they want to push out of their labs. They know they have a small window here before Olga comes back. Pappy playing a nice duel against Raph onto that pipeline, and there's a scout, Karnax, fighting on that cheese area, but he can't get anything, and considering the situation now, the Frenchies, they have to go back, and the bold push out here from Swift, but eventually it worked out.
So some really excellent timing on that bomb from Pappy. He knew that they were going to be flooding in the other door because there were just so many players down, there were so many entrances, but he got the timing perfectly right. 2 rocketed Mula as they pushed, and the whole push was just completely shot down, so really nicely played by him, defending it even though they didn't have a demo. There will be a back cap here from Duo, I think. But I think Swift are just going to be able to stack this. So the Frenchies do look like they try and want to contest, and they will get the force here finally.
Karnax was behind, but they're probably gonna lose their 2 scouts because Olga is stuck in the backlines as well and is gonna get cleaned up. So they lost 3 players for that force. It's probably enough maybe for Swift to try to push on that second point, maybe get the force onto Mula. We'll see what they decide to do. And it looks like they want to come, and the Frenchies, they don't even try to deny this. They're just gonna accept that situation, they accept their fate, go back into the last, and I can't believe they're just gonna sit with their Uber on last.
Yeah, some really passive positioning here. They knew they had ad, they could have just played forward, and if C's committed them, they just jump in and kill him. That's what I would do, because that's my favorite plan in every single Uber, but there you go. They will opt to now push through Cheese. They're going to head through, get some good damage from the Pappy. He's trying to hold close, and he will actually go down, and they still have ad here just for a few seconds. We'll be killing Domo as well, lower, so that's nicely played by them, getting so many players with the Uber before even popping.
Sliding under. Nobody saw him. He could have shot for the medic, he didn't. And it allows him to get the back cab. Really nice patience here from Ging. He has the penetration as well, and that was perfect here. And I mean, getting baiting Pappy to die and getting the last, it's probably a perfect play here from Ging.
We do see some excellent bind spam from, I think every single player on Swift perhaps has this bind of Olga, which I actually asked him about once in an interview, which is him just saying some oddly worded things about a bus. But we do see now this second mid, Swift winning that one out despite having a kind of questionable Uber force there.
And it was the longest round that we've seen so far, so Frenchie's already broken the record. The bomb coming from Pappy onto the Soul is helped by Gink. Gink, who can't really quite connect any rocket on Mula, who survived somehow. And that's going to be a 4v5 in favor of Swift. They have better heals, they have better positionings, and the Frenchies, they probably have to go back. Alien dies as well, no demo. Raph almost got off position. Oh no! Olga picked and the pipe hit him, and the splash killed Raph, so pretty unfortunate here from Raph. And the Domo is on the prowl, he's trying to see if he can get Mula, but it doesn't look like he can. And that second mid, unlike the first one, went in favor of Swift.
Yeah, some nice, I mean, the coordinated aggression from the soldiers on Swift is really, oh my goodness, the Frenchies tried to make an effort to contest, but Gink gets the perfect timing, helped by Domo and the scouts, just crushing the scouts as they try and walk in. So this could actually be potentially a sack, or maybe even a dry push straight into last here from Swift, as they do come in super aggressively through this right side, and they're taking over so much space here. The Raf does get a really nice force. It's a pretty good trade for Raf.
And Swift, they're already falling back. Raf chasing right side, gets a nice rocket onto the head of Scruff, critically him into the ground. And Swift, they look like they want to maybe try to take that fight. Classy was infiltrating onto the right hand side, but he gets cleaned up. No, he doesn't. He actually lives. It's just a trade between pockets between Raf and Pappy. And it looks like a nice window here of push out for the Frenchies. They're going to take that fight, and Swift, they're going to retreat. But Gink is on sniper, so it's going to be up to him to break that hole. But nice Uber trade here for the Frenchies, and they didn't fear this time, and they're going to secure their hold onto their second point.
Yeah, nice deny from Alien there. He almost got the frag onto Domo, which would have been quite crucial if they could have actually pushed mid on that. But yeah, he denied there could have been a really nice repush from Swift from Saw area, but no, he denied it pretty well. But really that I don't know if it's caught on stream, but that rocket from Raph onto Scruff. Scruff was 125 HP, but Raph just bombed into him with the Uber, headshot him with a rocket, and cratered him into the ground. The absolute nuclear rocket. It was beautiful to see. So the old teammates, have a nice 1v1 there, but Raph taking the better of it, as we do see this stalemate now, Ombrack.
And as some more banter or taunt, take it as you want, is being exchanged in chat between Raph and Scruff. Some nice words being exchanged. Gink picking onto Green. He had a nice headshot onto Olga, but the buff made him unable to kill the scout. Nice bomb here from Pappy. Oh, Mula holds it. Nice nerves here from the medic, and kind of a beef here from Pappy. That first rocket wasn't as good as it could have been. But yeah, nice attempt here from Swift. And now the push up maybe for the Frenchies, but it's gonna be tough to push because of that Soul sniper holding that choke area. So they only can go from choke, from showroom. They're not going for that trade, even though they could have traded with a sniper on the opposite team.
Yeah, that could have been a really decent opportunity to get a sack or a trade. Domo was very weak holding close, so if they got their flank in, he could have actually gone down, that could have opened everything up, particularly with the sniper, but they opted not to. Playing a little bit safe here. But yeah, I would like to see them next time, if they actually get some decent opportunity of it, particularly if Gink's on sniper, just take an aggressive trade, use the damage, and use your increased mobility to try and make things happen.
And Swift once more, they're trying for the setup play. The bomb coming from Pappy, and these times he get not the frag force onto Mula. So this is exactly what Swift came for, the force and the death for Pappy for the logs. Yeah, Uber's not being traded. Only one Uber is being used by Mula, and now Seeds is sitting on a comfortable Uber at 100%. And but they're being slow. They're waiting for Pappy, and they have that sniper, so they can't be as quick to push as they wished. And as the Frenchies, they're being cautious. They're already building a sentry on last, so they are ready to give up that second point. It's probably the wisest decision here, Eemes.
Yeah, definitely. Not going to contest, but they're going to be able to get Zuba definitely for last. They could have stacked a soldier there. They definitely had time to, because Moon was going to be getting the Zuba, but Duo kind of went for it, but they need to get pressured back. It was a nice decision from Swift. It could have been really opened up problems for them if they pushed 5v6 and with the sniper, because the flank would have just been so open. So nice decision for them to wait for Pappy there, as they do try and pressure in from this right side with their sniper. Gink will go down. Raf also trading off of that, so it's just going to be a reset here, really, and we're back. A nice and
Ubers are once again even. There's another gun. We'll see if Gink comes back as enough class. It doesn't look like he is. Once more he's on soldier, so we cookie cut a lineup here for Swift. I'm surprised not to see any up classes in the hands of Gink. And we've just hit the 10 minutes mark. It's still 1-0. But I won't say only 1-0 for Swift, even though they've been pushing pretty much all that time. Olga on Spy is checking for classes. He's not going to learn anything, but except the fact that there's no off classes, which is something in itself. And yeah, it's going to be a last to break. And we've seen that Swift was had no real pain to break that whole Eemes. Just a single bomb from Pappy was enough to force the Uber.
Yeah, it was. I mean, as you mentioned, it's kind of unfortunate to see the first bomb very, very nearly forced Mula, but I think Pappy missed a crucial rocket, maybe it was a splashback, I'm not sure. So he didn't force, and then basically about 2 minutes later, once he spawned, he did the exact same bomb, and it worked this time. So it's kind of unfortunate to not see the Frenchies adapting to that, changing Mula's positioning, or getting stickies up or anything to make sure that doesn't happen. But they're going to want to see them adapt a bit better to those kind of things if they're going to want to get more of this game.
Olga on sniper. Trying to make his way on through. He waddled in, and only Scruff was up to the fight, but he was not really assisted, and Olga was able to make his way out back to his last. Gink is on sniper now. I think he went all the way back to switch up, unless he died, but I don't think he did. And yeah, it's going to be a sniper duel now. Olga against Gink. I'm ready to bet onto Gink, but I'm ready to be surprised as well. We'll see how that goes. And they're still that gun, so yeah, the Frenchies, they don't want to push. They're okay to sit in their last forever now.
Yeah. Talking about Gink's sniping ability, did you see his highlight today? On TFTV, the video.
What?
Did you see the highlight video that Gink got from his?
I tend not to look at the videos I'm involved in.
No, it wasn't against you. It was against the other Frenchies. Well, no. Oh. It was Gwingam. Anyway, Gink hitting some nice headshots there, so I'm going to be expecting him to be winning the sniper duel as I do find a way to shoot one in.
Nice 3K.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't see. I will then. Nice. But as we remember about that particular play, the Swift, they're making their way in. Pappy is extremely weak, as is Gink. Pappy eventually dies, but Rav died as well to a body shot from Gink. So pretty much an even trade here. Even though one might argue that Pappy is a bit worth a bit more than Raf, but all in all, this is once more an even situation. Maybe Pappy will come back with a banner. We know he fancies these kind of plays, and he's not, of course. It's like everything I'm saying right now is being proved wrong by the 1 second after I say it.
That's unlucky. It happens, Ombrack, it happens. When maybe when you're the analyst, you'll make some better calls, who knows. If I'm doing play-by-play and I'll just start talking a load of rubbish, and then suddenly you'll make all the correct calls.
Okay, we'll swap around and make me look smart. And Olga wins the fight against Gink with a nice headshot, and he's pulling everybody from Swift out of the lobby. But Domo is pretty aggressive onto the lobby. Doesn't really want to let the Frenchies take that much space, because this is the better play to do here. When you kill someone as the defending team, you want to try to get your sniper to take some space onto lobby and try to have a better line, maybe onto the medic. But look at Seeds. There's no way he's getting a headshot here. It's just hiding onto the ammo bag.
Well, if the sniper could get all the way into cheese and then drop down, he could get the frag. But that does take quite a lot of setting up. I'd like to see, kind of theoretical situations, but if they do get pick, they could potentially get quite an easy force onto Seeds if he's in that corner, assuming he doesn't get the health pack, which would be kind of a tragedy. But yeah, the Swift have retaken lobby now. They're going to be pressuring a little bit on the right side. But at the moment, they're kind of looking just contented to sit around. Maybe they'll do a couple sacks again in a second, but they don't have Gink on sniper anymore. So they're just really trying to get. Oh, it's very weak.
Yes, positioning. He wanted to grab Alien with his beam, so he caught the spam that was meant for the sentry gun, and he felt really weak. And Olga behind gets a frag onto Papia Spy. I think he tried to go for the medic, but he wasn't where to be seen, so he had to fall back onto another less valuable frag. But a frag is still a frag, and now it's a 4v6 effectively. But the bomb from Duo is being completely denied by Scruff and Classy. Once again, you mentioned how these two scouts are playing extremely in the pocket way around seeds, and there's a way a single soldier bomb would be enough to get the force.
Gonna have to be a lot more creative than that Duo if he was going to want to get anything done. He bombed basically straight into both scouts, and I think he got air piped as well because the bomb was in such a straight line, so really nothing doing there at all. Ooh, really nice pipe and roller from Alien onto Scruff there. The Raft does get taken down from a sticky drive from Domo, so this could hamper their efforts to push. Olga's going to take so much space and then go super aggressive onto Pappy. Actually, they're all pretty weak on Swift, so they're just going to be walking in. Domo's so weak, and they will force actually and drop Pappy, so that's really nicely played by Karnax. Just taking the space, they run through a sticky trap, I think, and now they've got the force, so this could be a nice opportunity with the Frenchies to push.
Karnax, with not a single care in the world, just pressed his W key, which is a Z for a French player, and just went in. He got a frag and the force. So pretty well played here from Karnax at the price of his life. And is that gonna be enough for the Frenchies to push out from? Because it's not easy for them to push out and to get that round, that point. The bomb coming from Pappy, they got the frag onto Karnax with the help of a Gink, but the Uber is finally being used by Mula, but Olga is being dropped from that Uber.
Oh no, Classy!
Mula was cleaned up onto Cheat. I think he was body blocked by Classy, and that results in a poor frag here for.
So Classy killed Olga, even though Mula should have been Ubering him. Domo will go down to a nice sticky up there, but and then he just, because obviously Mula had no one to run him out, he was completely alone in cheese, and Classy just comes in after the Uber and gives him one shot and he's dead. So really, really nice play from Classy. He kills the scout, which should have been in the Uber, and then killed the med. So just really clinical by him. Just kind of a poor push out from the Frenchies there, just getting stuffed into cheese, taking too much damage.
But that little sticky trap from Alien onto Domo slowed down the process, and Mula was able to come back and provide some overhaul to his teammates. So maybe there's a chance for the crever to hold that. Uber is being used onto the shutter, onto Scar, and a demo for Swift to try to get some point play, but they can't really manage to do it. So they're gonna try to get some frags. Look at Domo being so aggressive. He's protecting the cap time from Scruff, but look, there are all the Frenchies. They're falling back onto the point, trying to get some frag, but Classy backlines creating havoc, and Gink tried to bomb the point. It's now only Domo, and Izanda. Is he gonna try to go for a crazy play? No, Domo, you can't do that, just jumping out.
Yeah, Domo playing safe there, but what we didn't see playing safe was Scruff on that last push. I mean, this classic thing you do on Snake Water is you come in, you shoot a few stickies and you play point as scout, and then everyone has to come to the point, and it's so easy for your demo. But instead, Domo pushed all the way into them, and Scruff, instead of playing the point which was next to him, it had like a couple stickies on it, so he didn't shoot them. He just ran across the point to try and get frags, and he was just kind of completely useless because he was so far away. All of Swift trying to get frags, and they just got really nothing here. And now the Frenchies will be coming into here with a significant Uber advantage. Going to try and get the force Swift, but there's not too much spam onto them. I mean, Mula's kind of weak, but they should be able to take it. But in fact, there has been a back cap, which is going to delay things very nicely for them.
Who knew that one Gink would be enough to bring back 6 players? Actually, apparently it is. And I mean, one Gink and a paint train. So maybe that's enough. But yeah, that threat from back cap completely denied the ambitions from the crever, and now it's going to be an even situation because that enough time for Siege to get his own Uber, and we're going to see how the Frenchies, they want to push out. It's still 1-0 only, so there's a room for the Frenchies to come back into the game, make it a tie, and maybe even try to win it. Even though I think if the Frenchies win this, it doesn't change anything about the standings. So it's just for runner right now.
Pride, Ombrack. It's all about that pride.
For ego?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't have an ego, Eemes. I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
And Swift trying to make their way onto, and classic bomb here from Gink. Nice surfer away this time from Mula. He's learning minute after minute, and that bomb from Gink was ineffective, and now Seed's gonna hide around that little house, just making some circles around it, and the Raph trying to go for that bomb himself, but he got created by Scruff and Classy once again. I think this isn't the first time we've seen that situation unraveling before our eyes. And now once more Swift trying to go for the same play, trying to go onto that choke, onto that grass, trying to make some space for Pappy. Here it is, the bomb coming, but once more a nice tank here. I think someone caught a rocket for Mula, so he didn't have to use, and Gink is going to come behind as a sniper. And pretty much this is just a rinse and repeat for Swift right now.
Yeah, it was actually really nice, like, pressure in general, because the Frenchie was super grouped up on their train. If Pappy hadn't actually sacked there, just, you know, done a bit better spam, they actually probably could have just taken up the fight, like, straight on with maybe a trade on Domo there. But actually, Gink will get the pick onto Raft, so this could definitely open things up for a push through, potentially from Choke, although all of Swift are towards Saw. It's going to be kind of difficult for them to dry push from, as Alien is locking it down right now, but I expect them they're going to be rotating soon. Although actually, they kind of look like they're opting to be a little bit more passive. I don't know why they're not going to play off that pick. That's kind of the standard play to make, but just kind of waiting for Gink to get anything more, and he does not, sadly.
We want to see more. We want to see some more risk being taken here, but it doesn't look like this is what's going to happen. Gink is holding onto the little wooden plank, trying to see if someone will be bold enough. This is how we're going to say it, to pick that little corner. It doesn't look like it, and it looks like Swift they just want to wait. They're happy with the 1-0 against the last of Premiership.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that.
I think they're just feeling pretty calm now. They just want to see out the season, you know, make their way calmly and collectively into playoffs. As we do see a sack from Doyes, and again behind, he got some damage onto Domo, I think that was, but he will go down. So I really would like to see Swift making a push here, or you know, at least a kind of a dry push in there. That's what they will be doing. Gink coming quite aggressively to this choke area, and we'll see if they can actually take the ground they need. As Pappy does sack in once again,
and once again he doesn't get the force. It only worked once out of 5 times now for Pappy. And actually, at least he's selfless for his stats. The nice pressure here from Alien to Kawok pushing the sniper off, but basically by allowing Gink to surf away, he gave him a better sightline onto Mula. So once more, this is a retreat, tactical retreat here for the Frenchies. And Gink went in for the hero shot, got the frag onto Mula, and now this is going to be a superb opportunity for Swift to push in the bomb from Duo. Got the force onto Seeds, but that play from Gink was out of this world.
And we do see some toxic behaviour coming out in the chat from Mula, but that's okay. He did just get completely destroyed. Karnax is actually behind him. Might go for playing the Classy, but Classy, I thought he knew, but he actually doesn't, and he gets kind of destroyed by Karnax. That's really nice by him, going to delay them super for a long time. Oh, in fact, he does actually not block, so not such a long delay, but the Frenchies will have time to get up something of a defence on last, although they do have a bit of a disadvantage here, Ombrack.
And Gink still on sniper, so it might be some kind of slowdown for Swift if they want to push with that ad, because it's not that big of an ad. It's only 30%, and if the Frenchies kite it well enough, they will be able to get their Uber in time. No. But as I said, Gink once again gets a frag from top down onto Mula, and he gets another onto Karnak. He's unstoppable now. He's finally getting shut down by Olga, but the damage is done. For Swift, they're gonna probably claim another round here on the back of that nice play from Gink, and just cleaning up the frags. Now Raph gets through with the help of Duo, but yeah, Gink was the key to unlock that situation.
Yeah, Gink just kind of being the difference between the teams, both on the first round with the back cap and this round with a crazy headshot, and then a couple more on last to win it out for them really easily. I mean, you really want to see the Frenchies being a lot more aware of that. They know he's still on sniper, he didn't die in the trade, so he's obviously almost certainly going to peek from drop down, and Olga, we watched it in the end, but just far too late. They were just kind of caught unawares there with their pants down, and kind of showing that inexperience really, as we do go to this third mid.
And there's enough time for the Frenchies to come back into that game, 630 seconds, but they will have to show a little more aggression, a little more will to come back if they actually want to get around Gink and Karnax of the first one to die on that third mid. And look at Pappy, he's flanking on the left side completely cold, and he's doing a lot of room, a lot of space for his team, but Domo and Seeds both died to a nice aggression from Olga, and I think it was Duo who went as well. And somehow Swift Seeds died, but it looks like that fight going the way of Swift, and the Mula know they Mula can die, maybe Classy, he's on the prowl, but he's retreating and they don't want to risk it. And they got Seeds, so it's probably a good trade for them, but not as good as they want to come into the game.
Yeah, so Mula will be able to retake mid here with this Uber advantage, I expect, unless he does somehow drop. But I mean, really, we saw on that mid, obviously Seeds went down to a nice spam rocket from Raf, and I think about 120 damage from Duo, a nice bomb. But the scouts from the Frenchies is just nowhere near as good as Scruff and Classy at playing slowly with their med and just hitting all their shots and making sure that no one can get onto them. So they can't actually go down, and what should have been an unlosable fight for them ended up being kind of rough. But then Mula has survived, so that's pretty good for them, and they're going to be taking mid over here now. Domo's very weak in choking, will actually go down, so that's actually really kind of poor from Swift, as this could be a dry push, or an even Uber push through choke if they want to go off their demo pick. What do you think, Ombrack?
I think the Frenchies were extremely slow. They have a 100% Uber ride, and they were so slow to take the mid that Seeds managed to build his own Uber in time. And if this is a DM fight, this is gonna go in the favor of Swift unless something unexpected happen, and Gink being pressure on the flank, maybe he's gonna be that unexpected factor, the bomb coming from Raf, but he's bombing a scout, so obviously he's gonna get cleaned up by Scruff. And now the Frenchies, they have to come back. They won't use that Uber, otherwise it's gonna be terrible for them. But the pressure is coming from Pappy and Domo. Maybe the Swift players want to push onto that middle point. And the Uber's used from Mula for no reason. It was 70 HP, and a single spam rocket was enough to scare him and to make him use the Uber.
That was a really questionable part over there from Mula, just kind of getting the jitters, I guess. Maybe thought somebody was bombing him, but no, it was just a spam rocket. So yeah, really kind of poor from Mula there, not being so aware of where the soldier was, as we do see Swift heading in here from Saw, and they're going to be taking. There's not too much pressure on them right now, so it looks like the Frenchies can be giving this up.
And they probably are wise to do so, because the Uber is being ready in the hands of Seeds. But Karnax and Duo on the flank did a good job and got 2 frags, so they traded bodies. It's a almost even situation, except small detail. Eemes Seeds has the Uber while Mula has not yet, and the Seeds being forced for some reason as well. Not a questionable Uber, but it looks like Domo is better than Alien, as making that Uber worth it, and he cuts the frag onto his fellow demo man. But yeah, that Uber wasn't great.
Olga's taking it straight back in. Gink is actually behind the Uber, doesn't get spotted, so he will be going for the back cap here, but they're going so aggressive here, but they have no demo to chase Ombrack, so they're going to get absolutely nothing out of this Uber, just kited very easily by Swift, really. And this could have been quite catching out Swift pretty effectively, but in fact Gink is now behind. He's going to get onto so much damage onto the point. This is going to be a really easy repush for Swift, I think.
And the bomb coming from Pappy is just putting the beam away from the French player, and now he's just chasing. There's a backup coming from Karnak, but there's no way in the world he makes that happen. Now he's completely alone. Everybody else has died for the Frenchies. It could be a quick push to last, but look at them. They're just being wary. They want to make a 6-man cap maybe for Swift. They're being so. They could have been a run already, and now they're all busting to the left side except Gink. They're claiming the frag onto Duo, and now they're just going for the frag before getting the cap. Olga dies. The Uber is being used by Swift. Gink dies as well, but now it's a turn of Raf. But it's the mid grinder now probably for Swift. They just have to focus targets. They get the frag onto Karnax, and now just the better quality overall for Swift is just showing.
Yeah, and just really the death by Alien to that Uber of Domo was just so crucial, because if he'd been alive there and Swift were, still capping the point after that Uber, they could have actually caught out so many players with their counter Uber, which they just got after. But with only Ubering Olga through Saw there, they were just unable to catch really anything at all. He's just running straight out under no threat really at all, and they're just losing that situation once again.
Bomb coming straight from Yaking onto Mula, but he gets the medic pretty weak, but doesn't quite get the frag. And now the aggression coming from the Frenchies. Can they make anything happen? Seeds is hiding on the showroom with the help of Domo, and can they make anything happen? Kind of a disconnected fight here from the Frenchies and Swift, but somehow the better DM from Swift is just showing once again, and now it's going to be a 3v3, exact same classes up on both sides, but it looks like the better positioning from Pappy is going to make all the difference in the world. He's bombing Alien, putting him off of the high ground, and now the spawners are going to be in favor of Swift, and again, small details all turning the fight in favor of Swift.
I mean, Alien sort of seems to think that, obviously playing on high ground is kind of nice in this game in general, but when you're a demo, it just makes it a lot easier for the enemy demo to spam you, the way the angles work out, and he just kind of got focused down. He was nowhere near his med, which is basically the main problem, so he just got spammed out, had to leave, and even though they should have had much better positioning there, because they were still in mid and Swift weren't, they just kind of lost it out in the end. As Pappy does, they go in for a trade. Pappy will go behind and probably die soon, and it's just kind of a messy fight around Saw here.
Somehow Pappy behind doesn't die, but he's not here to help his teammates in that fight, and it's a 4v3 now with Pappy being behind and not really healthy. Se7en, 9 HP, lives and gets a frag onto Raph. Somehow Se7en is still alive. It doesn't make any sense, and Kanax knows that. He makes a nice rocket from Happy, equalizing the situation.
And when you saw Se7en inexplicably winning a 1v1 there against Raph, so that was actually really nice. If he hadn't got that, I don't think Pappy would have been able to come in and finally get the saving grace frag onto Mula, so that's kind of really nicely played by him.
Classy, he's on soldiers with the shotgun walking, he's on heavy, so probably means that game is over, Eemes, and
I think it does.
Swift is going to take that 3-0. But yeah, kind of a closer map this time around, but it looks like it was mainly because Swift were taking things slow.
Yeah, indeed. It was a bit of a slow one. I think for once TFTV2 has, well, I mean, I haven't actually looked at the other game, but I assume it's the less entertaining one. But there you go. Sometimes that happens, Ombrack.
And we've been unlucky this time around, but yeah, that was the last game of the season for the crever, who's gonna end up at the last spot in the division. But no, all was lost for them. They got some nice upset against the French team, and as for Swift, we're gonna see them a bit more in the playoffs. They're probably gonna end up being third. We're gonna take a quick look at the last log of the season for the Frenchies, and but I don't really know what to expect from it, to be fair.
What kind of? I suppose I expected the Swift Scouts doing pretty effectively, doing well, playing pretty effectively. Although, actually, you know, Scrofflog's not that fantastic compared to Classy's, but I guess, you know, Classy still has something to prove, trying to get his debut this season. As we do, in fact, we greet him with hello, Classy, and Olga as well. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling after that game?
Good.
You sure do sound like you feel good, Classy.
I'm actually sick, so.
Oh, you've been brave enough to raise and fight tonight. But yeah, that was kind of what we expected tonight, kind of a one-way game, even though that Snake game was a bit closer than expected. So let's go with Olga first. Commiseration. How did you team go into that game? Because that was probably the only thing at stake for you was not being last of the season. But were you guys actually motivated to play that? What was your mindset?
Well, I think we had this scrim against Swift that we tied. I think it was on Logjam, and it was maybe 2 weeks ago. So we were thinking that maybe we could win. Like if we make them tilt like really hard, maybe. But yeah, we were a bit keen entering that game. Well, I had the help of Dumpton, who spied the demo and things like this. So I knew like it's kind of classes they would play. But yeah, still we didn't want to.
Okay.
Unfortunate. And as for you, Classy, this game kind of mattered in terms of playoffs because a win would mean you'd be third. So I guess that was what you were going for. So the season isn't over for you yet, guys. How are you feeling going into playoffs?
Feeling pretty good, I guess.
Competition is probably going to be 7 in that order: 7, Ascent, and Faint in fourth. So you're feeling good. What do you think your chances are against who's probably going to be Ascent on the first round of the playoffs?
I mean, we've had like sort of gone like back and forth with them in scrims recently, so I think people are much more confident now than at the start of the season.
Fair enough. Actually, something I wanted to mention. You've played your last 2 officials with Domo because Lucas wasn't available. How do you think it has and it's gonna impact you guys? Do you think it's gonna? I probably guess you would have preferred to play with Lucas at the end of. Is Lucas gonna be available for the playoffs as well?
Yeah, Lucas can be available. We only played with Domo since we like scrimmed with him yesterday as well. So, and Lucas can arrive at like, you know, he wasn't going to be able to play the warm up today either. So we were going to play with like Lucas, who hadn't played Snake Quarter and who was like, I guess, not warmed up. So we all just like sort of made a mutual decision to just play the official out with Demo, and then we'll play playoffs with Lucas.
Eemes, do you have any question to ask our guest?
Not particularly, honestly.
Okay. Just so before we go, quick question for Classy about Copenhagen. So for everybody who wasn't aware, the rentals have open. They are available, and So you guys are attending Copenhagen. Is there still a question mark about around your definitive lineup?
No, we're like, I think Gink was like the remaining piece of the puzzle. He said he's like 95% going now. That we've reached like the minimum requirement for our fundraiser. So 95% that you can see the whole roster at Copenhagen.
Nice, good news. Quick shout outs, Olga.
Well, shout out to my team. Shout out to Se7en and especially Papi. I tried to trash talk him because I know he's main coding, so no offense. It's just strategy. Shout out to you guys for casting. Shout out to Wiethoofd for producing, and shout out to other Frenchies that are blaming us every official.
Classy, do you have any shout outs yourself?
Shout out to Ombrack.
Nice, I like it. He's a nice guy. Eemes, any words from yourself?
Shout out to my LAN team.
Okay.
Maybe announcement soon. Who knows?
Well,
yeah,
I can't wait.
We're going. We got the roster. It's complete. We've put the pieces of the puzzle together. So there you go. And shout out to the teams, of course. Shout out to you, Ombrack and Wiethoofd.
And spoiler alert, somebody in Eemes team has never been to LAN before, so a big hype around the mystery man. As for myself, shout out to people involved in the Copenhagen game, shout out to people who watch, shout out to Swift and the French team. And if you guys want to see a bit more TF2 tonight, I believe the first game isn't over yet, so you should all go to TFTV1, as I see left doing a stare stab onto Raymond.
Oh my god. That's a genius.